So you get this equal to q plus r by this. Okay, what can I write about this? R by a plus b. It is less than 1. So this quantity is actually less than q plus 1. Okay, q plus 1 take it. Okay. It is less than q plus 1. Okay, and then we will try something here. You can try it. So put that. Now cross multiplication will do, but after we simplify this, okay, a plus b whole square minus twice a b. Okay, we can write it this way, divided by this a plus b. So this means that it is a plus b minus twice a b by plus b. This is strictly less than plus b. Okay, plus. So from here you see, what is this actually? This is the A expression, but what is this? This is the most probably we have not done this one, harmonic mean of HM. Oh, acha, yes, something was covered by Rahul. Harmonic mean and okay. So harmonic mean between this A and B, where A and B are positive. So it's actually 2 divided by 1 by A plus 1 by A. Okay. That was harmonic. And you have this inequality. Arithmetic mean greater than or equal to this, greater than or equal to HM. Okay. So that's what we have. And if you multiply it by negative, it will be. So AM is greater than HM. So minus AM is actually less than or equal to minus. Okay. So this. Yeah, so this side we can use the inequality. So twice AB. So we have so let us keep it as 1. So we have AM is greater than or equal to HM. So this is A plus B by 2 is greater than or equal to twice AB by plus. So from here we want minus. So minus of A plus B by 2 is less than or equal to minus of twice AB by plus. So that means you add A plus B on both sides. So it is A plus B minus A plus B by 2 less than or equal to A plus B minus twice AB by plus. Okay. So what is this? This is actually equal to, this is actually A plus B by 2 is less than or equal to A plus B minus twice AB by A plus B. Okay, and by equation 1 it was strictly less than, this is strictly less than 2 plus 1. This is strictly less than. So we have some limit now. What is that limit? Cross multiply koriga. So this is. So therefore we have A plus B is strictly less than 2 into Q plus 1. But bracket, 2 into Q plus bracket. But what is Q? Q already we have got less than or equal to 44. So this is less than or equal to 2 into 45. So A plus B is strictly less than 90. Okay, so we have got a limit for R also. But what is R? R is strictly less than A plus B. So therefore R is also less than 90. R should be less than 90. So one more limit we have got. So Q lies between 1 and 44 and R lies between 0 and 90. So therefore now can we say something? Q square plus R is 1977. So for which values will it be satisfied? Now Q square plus R is equal to 1977. So this is Q square equal to 1977 minus R. Okay. So r is less than 90, so there is minus r is greater than minus 90. No? So this will be greater than what? 1977 minus 90. No? So what is that? Q square is greater than 188. Okay, so Q is the perfect square Q square is greater than 1887 and is less than or equal to what is this? 1944 square. 1966. Okay, so we have got this inequality. So therefore 1887 is less than Q square and this is less than or equal to 44 square. 1966. देखो तो 1849 or 43 just immediate earlier square no? This is 44 square 43 square is actually but 43 square is 1849 okay so there is no other perfect square between this and this except 44 square. So ultimately Q square has to be 44 square. Okay. This Q should be 44. Okay. So what is R? R will be R is equal to 1977 minus 1936. Okay. So what is that? 1 and 41 r is 41 right so q r r value ekhona baki ache I need the values of a and b actually the pairs a and b okay so luckily we have got only one value of q and r so now what are the values of a and b so for a and b we will go back to that equation first. S square plus b square will be equal to 44 into a plus b plus 41. So now we will factorize this. S square plus b square. We bring everything to one side. 44a minus 44b plus minus 41. So we can we can combine a square minus 2 into 11 into a. So I need another one 11 square plus b square minus 2 into 11 or 2 into 22. Yeah. This is 2 into 22 into a. So this will be plus 22 square and b square minus 2 into 22 into b plus 22 square equal to 41. Then these things I have added extra. There is extra, so plus 22 square plus 22 square. Okay, got it? So we can write this way. So from here you have a minus 22 whole square plus b minus 22 whole square is equal to 41 plus 22 square is
1009. Total 1009.
1009. Okay. 41 square is actually 484. 484. So this is such a art right now. Such a art. Oh, sorry. 9. Yeah. 0. 8, 16 plus 4 is 20. Right. Such a art. 8 2 10. 109. ठीक है. 100. So a and b are integers which satisfy this. Okay. So we have to find out. So these are actually just like yeah. So we have to find out what are the values for a and b. Possible values. Okay, but one thing that is given to us is a and b are integers. So actually these are actually perfect squares. Okay, so it's this cannot be greater than this cannot be very large perfect squares, no? Because the total sum is only 1000. Okay, so hardly this will be up to what? Up to 31 maybe, no? 31 961. No? Each maximum possible value is 960. Because after that, if it is 32 square, it's more than 1009. 32 square is what? 1024. Okay, so that is more than that. So this thing cannot be 32 square. So each of these is actually less than 31 square, less than or equal to 31 square. Okay, so there are not too many possibilities. Okay, and also we can also see that this plus this is so these are all non-negative quantity. This is equal to 1009. Okay. So can it be 2 less? It is 2 less or with the word, because say if it is less than half of this, if this is also less than half of this and this is also less than half of this, then their sum is strictly less than this. Okay. So both cannot be less than 1009 by 2, 500 something. No? Both of this perfect square cannot be less than 1009 by 2. Okay, right? So at least one of them should be greater than 500. 500 what was that? 500. Say half of that. 504.5. Okay, so at least one of them should be greater than 500 something. Okay, so that means greater than 500, which is the first perfect square greater than 500.
Sir, 529.
576 will be 24 square.
23
square is
529.
529. Okay. So yeah, so we have got that each of these should be less than or equal to 31 square, and at least one of them should be greater than or equal to 23 square. Okay. So there are very few values we have to check. 23 square, 24 square, 25 square, like that up to 31 square. Okay. That we have to check. Okay. So this is what we will write. So clearly a minus 22 square, this is less than or equal to 31 square, and okay, both should be satisfied. B minus 22 square, this also should be less than or equal to 31 square. Okay. And but both a minus 22 square and b minus 22 square cannot be less than 1009 by 2. Okay. So this is 500 504.5. Okay. Both this cannot be less than 500. So therefore at least means either a minus 22 square is greater than or equal to 529, or b minus 22 square which should be greater than or equal to 529 is 23 square. The first square, which is perfect square, which is greater than 500, means both of them cannot be less than 504, because if both are less than 504, their sum will be less than 1009. Okay, but that is actually equal. Yeah. So at least one of them should be greater than 500. Okay, but these are perfect square. So at least one of them should be greater than or equal to 23 square. Okay. So what are the possibilities? So we consider only one of them. The other is just interchangeable. Okay. So we say we consider this possibility. Now this should be satisfied for both, and this should be satisfied for at least one of them. So what are the possibilities? So let us take. So without loss of generality, we can take this. So the possible values. we suppose let's say one of them will be we suppose a minus 22 square is the greater one, okay, is greater than or equal to b minus 22 square. So therefore the possible values are values of n minus 22 square are what? 529, it is 23 square, 23 square. 23 square, then 24 square, what is that? 576. Suppose more 25 square will be what? 625, and the other is 26 square. Is that? 26 square is
676.
676. Okay. And then 27 square.
720. সাইডটা তো আমরা অড নাম্বার কনজিকিউটিভ অ্যাড করে করতে হবে। মানে একটার পরে তো কনজিকিউটিভ অড নাম্বার অ্যাড করে করে উইল গেট ইজিলি। So 720.
ও আচ্ছা ইয়া যে n square plus মানে n plus 1 square minus n square equal to actually twice n plus. So just add the consecutive real numbers. So it's actually 7 and so similarly 28 square is equal to 782 and then 784. Okay, and then 29 square is just add the 841 and then 30 square is 900, 31 square 960, 961. Okay. These are the possible values of this one of them. Okay. So what are the possible values of the other one? The other one also has to be perfect square, and their sum should be 1009. So now you test. For which one you find out the difference between 1009 and these things, and for which one the difference is a perfect square. Okay. That is what you find.
So 28 square.
20 square. For others, the difference is not a perfect square. We have to check. The 1009 minus 500.
29, 30, 31, it is not available. 27 and each.
Particular. So let us check the other one also. So this is 0. This is it 8. 480. So it's not a perfect square. And 1009 minus 526. So the unit digit is 3. So it's not a perfect square. No? And 625. 1009 minus 625 is 4. 8. No?
9 minus 6.
384. So it's not a perfect square. Okay, then 26 square 676. 10. So it unit digit 3, not a perfect square. This one
9 minus 9 is
1009 729 0 8 180. But 280. 280. So it's not a perfect square.
only 20 lakhs.
Only we get so only for 784 it's a perfect square. So the other value is this. So if one is 784, the other is this minus. So only two this single possibilities. So but out of all this only one value that is 28 square satisfies a minus 22 square plus b minus 22 square is equal to 1009. Okay, only one value. So therefore either a minus 22 square is 28 square and b minus 22 square is 15 square. 15 square or one case is this, another is the other. Okay, if we suppose the b minus 22 is greater,
37 and 52.
a minus 22 squared is 15 squared, b minus 22 squared is not in the other is 20. So from here a minus 22 is, so it's actually plus minus 15. Plus minus 15. B minus 22 is plus minus 28. So what are the things here? So A is 22 minus 7. 7 on A is 7. 7 on what is that?
7 or
37. 7 होते पड़े consider both position. And b is equal to 22 minus 28 minus plus 22.
So 6 are
So b equal to minus 6, it's not possible. So only one possibility, because b was given to be positive integers. Okay, so for b only one value is there. There is 50. So these are the values, or from here the other way, a is 50 and b is 7. Okay, so what are the pairs? 7 comma 50. Okay, then it could be 37 comma 50, or it could be 50 comma 7, or it could be 50 comma 37.
So 6 kilogram.
minus 11.
Now it is minus 6. If it is minus 28, then it is minus 6. So, but b is given to be positive integer. So only these four tips: 750, 3750, 57, and 5037. Okay, these are the four. This boy actually printing mistake 9, but here there is a printing mistake. It is written that none of the squares can be smaller than half of 1000. That is incorrect. At least one of the squares is greater than. So, probably not too many concepts, just some.
So you bound the break of the
Bound whatever, when it comes from practice. So, one problem. Even we are doing just selected problems. Trying to do instantly unless you see the solution. You should also
So we are not going to do this over. In a finite sequence of real numbers, determine solution. Sum of any 7 consecutive terms is negative, and the sum of any 11 consecutive terms is positive. Consecutive. Agata system it was any. Here it was sum of any 7 consecutive is negative, and sum of any 11 consecutive terms is positive. Determine the maximum number of terms in this sequence. Okay, try whatever. And determine the maximum number of terms in this sequence. Sum of any 7 is negative. In a sequence of finite sequence of real numbers, the sum of any 7 consecutive numbers is negative, and the sum of any 11 consecutive numbers is positive. Find the maximum possible number of terms. What is the highest number of terms that it can contain? Terms of this sequence. Because the system system sum of any 7 is negative. So x1 plus x2 plus up to x7, that is negative. Then similarly say x2 plus x3 plus up to x8, it is negative. Okay. What was it?
Sir, and in finite sequence starting and the end terms
Oh yeah. And in terms of the order, x1, x2 up to xn. Okay, let the terms be this x1, x2 up to xn. So this one actually x1 plus x2 plus up to x7. Okay. This is negative.
x1 in terms of again. So t on x1 in terms of
Oh no. The terms means this doesn't say that these numbers are consecutive. Consecutive terms. The first term, second term, third term, seventh term. Like second term, means they are not consecutive numbers. Okay, they are actually real numbers. Sequence of real numbers, not integers. So in real numbers there is no concept of consecutive numbers. After real number, we don't know. If we need to distinct real numbers, there are infinitely many. So this actually means consecutive terms of the sequence. Okay, first term, second term, they are arranged in a particular order. It is fixed. Okay. So first term, second term, third term, up to seventh term. If we add, it is negative. Okay, second, third, fourth, eighth, it is negative. Okay, like that. So we will say that an element of the letters word has no fixed letters. The element is placed directly below the word. No column has the same letter related. H, B, R, A, no fixed letters. Only distinguishable variation from fixed letters. That's part of that. The two A's are considered identical. Without restriction, it is to be 5 into d5.
x2 plus x3 plus x8. This is also negative. Then x3 plus x4 plus x9. This is also negative. So that way if you continue, yeah. See, but in the first column you are getting these terms, x1, x2, x3. These are also consecutive terms. Okay. And we know that sum of 11 consecutive terms is positive. So you keep on continuing this way and come to the 11th one here. x11 plus x12 plus x total x17. No? Yeah. So this is also negative. Okay. But what about this? A sum this is positive. This sum is positive. Okay. So column wise the sum is positive. And this row wise the sum of these 17 numbers is negative. Okay. So that cannot happen. It means the sequence cannot have greater than or equal to 17 terms. If there are 17 terms, then there is a problem. If 17 terms are there, distinct terms are there, then we can make this arrangement, and if you add up all this, the column wise sum it will be positive, but the row wise sum will be negative. Okay. So this sequence cannot have 17 distinct terms. Okay. So number of terms is less than or equal to 16. Okay. Number of terms here is less than or equal to 16. So the column wise sum of these things is positive. So since it is given that sum of any 11 consecutive terms is positive. So here summation of xi I goes from 1 to 17, say row wise. Row wise sum. This is actually negative. Okay, less than 0. And you add this row, then plus this row, plus this row. Each of them are negative, so their sum is negative. But summation of xi I goes from 1 to 17 column wise. If you do it this way, column wise. No, not this actually. Xi. No, I should not write. Repeated as well. Here, say just the row wise sum. Row wise sum of how many numbers are there? 7 into 11, 77. There are actually 77 quantities listed above. That's a proper way of writing. Row wise sum of this 77 quantities which are listed. So there are computations, no problem. So this 77 quantities listed above is negative. Okay, but column wise sum. But the column wise sum of the same quantities. Okay, so if we add column wise sum of the same quantities or numbers is greater than 0. Okay, so this cannot happen. So therefore, the number of terms cannot be greater than or equal to 7. Okay. So the maximum number of terms is less than or equal to 16. And there are 16 terms. Okay. Maximum number of less than or equal to 7. I cannot say exactly 17. I cannot say exactly 16. Because if I want to say exactly 16, then what I have to do? I have to find a sequence which satisfies these conditions and has exactly 16 terms. I recommend a sequence particular. Okay. So as of now, I can say it is less than or equal to 16.
Maximum number of 16.
Find the maximum number of terms.
Okay.
Maximum number of
16.
Yes, possible.
there is no surety that if means that particular sequence will satisfy those conditions also. No? But we have to say that this is the maximum number of terms. It may happen that for 16 terms also there is a problem. So for 16 terms we cannot argue with this. So we have to try finding out a sequence having 16 terms and will satisfy these conditions. Okay. That sum of any consecutive 7 consecutive is negative, 11 consecutive is positive. So one way is you take all of them as equal. Okay, popular equal now. And then try to include some negative numbers. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay. And try to include some negative numbers here, such that the sum of which এখানে ধরো প্রথম একটা দুইটা তিনটা চারটা পাঁচটা ছয়টা সাতটা sum of first 7 here is actually 7. Okay. So if I want to make it negative, I have to modify one of those numbers. Okay. So that way
একটাকে মাইনাস 8 করে দিবেন
একটাকে যেমন মাইনাস 8 করো করিয়ে দাও which one should I take? So but I want এদিকে shift ও হইতো so let us make one of them মোটামুটি মিডল একটা করো লাস্টটা if it is minus 8 here then what happens? The sum of this 7 will be
আবার নেক্সট 7 করো
minus 2 negative. That is correct. Then
11 terms are positive.
yeah, 11 you have to take positive. So there are 7 terms here.
11 will be positive. 8 minus 6.
So instead of minus 8, let us take minus 7. Minus 7 only. So what it is? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Minus 1. And then if you take the sum, this sum of 11, it will be 7. Arrow chart. So that is positive. For this one also there is no problem. For this also no problem. For this
No problem.
no problem. For this one 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one starts from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Now next will be from here. From 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So up to this. Up to this, no problem. Data 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So this also there is no problem. Then
Direct third last day. Direct third last day.
from here also there will be from minus 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Third last day.
So from here there is no problem of getting consecutive 11 terms because third last.
Third last এর আগে আছে।
এখানে একদম নেগেটিভ হয়ে যাবে। This is one way of finding out.
So last একটা minus introduce করে
No, কিন্তু if there is only minus 7 here, last একটা minus 3.
মাইনাস 3 একটা।
Sum of any consecutive.
না তখন তো কনজিকিউটিভ
not necessary.
না তখন তো কনজিকিউটিভ এলিমেন্টটা হবে।
তখন consecutive এলিমেন্টটা প্রবলেম হবে নাকি?
And that was
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So how many are there?
ও আচ্ছা কত মান থেকে বলছো?
11. No? Yeah. So this position of 7, this cannot be here. No? Even though it is a problem. So means we have to try shifting it this way. Okay. So we try to think about this.
but we will get
There is a solution here. You can have a solution this way. I am trying to find out some easy way of Here one solution is already given. 8 8 minus 21 negative position is here. So they have started with 8 8 minus 21. Okay, so I was just trying that simple number 1 diya shuru koriya hoingo because usually we start trial and error with 1 2 directly 8 diya 8 8 minus 21 8 8 8 like that. This is one solution they have given. Try to think whether it is possible to get using this way. Minus 7 position का change करिया पड़ेगी. I will also try. Okay, so if we are able to get a sequence having exactly 16 terms, in that case we can conclude that the maximum number of terms here is 16. Otherwise, maximum number of terms is less than or equal to 16. Okay. Oh, अच्छा वही problem का harder. We will say that whatever. Let us see this. We will say that an arrangement of letters. When I ultimately have to find out the derangements of this. So no letter is its correct. And derangement will be means in each column there is no repetition. Yeah, if all these are distinct, then the formula is this way. G5 factorial 5 into 1 minus 1 by factorial 1 by factorial 2 1 minus. Yeah, in splitting test also I did it. Who is this? So this is what? 30. Okay, whatever it is, this without restriction. But now there are two repetitions. You can repeat it. So that is the problem. What is the number of permutations? There is actually a number of permutations.
Sir, agar আমরা ডিস্টিংক্ট ধরে করি এরপরে যদি কিছু ম্যানিপুলেশন করা হয় ধরে A1 A2 ধরে বললাম তাহলে
A1 A2 বললে তো this many words are there.
তার মানে D6 করলাম এরপরে ওই দুটাকে কতভাবে অ্যারেঞ্জ করতে পারবো এটা যদি
No, yeah, okay. It may happen that this, the problem will occur when this A comes at this position, or this A goes to that position. In this number of how many these are there?
so vector
60 minus 20
plus 6
Oh, there are 6 no? Factorial 6 into 1 plus 1 factorial 6. So it is actually equal to 0. So 720 by 2 360 minus 240 6 by 720 120 plus 30 minus 6 plus 1 no? So what is this 240 plus 30 is 270 minus 1 260. So these many arrangements are there where no number is in its no letter is in its correct position, but out of them there are some numbers where these positions are interchanged. We can find it out. A appears